to be breaking down a swing trade that we swung overnight from Wednesday night into Thursday morning. All right, so this swing trade was for pins or Pinterest. All right, so I'm going to kind of walk you through my thought process for why we swung Pinterest puts. Okay, this ended up being a solid return, anywhere from 25 to 35% return, depending on where you sold. And it did take a little while to come green for us. I'm going to break that down why. It was a classic bull trap that the market makers pulled on at open for Pinterest, and you just had to hold through a couple minutes. But first, let me walk through my thought process that led to this Pinterest trade, okay? So the first thing I notice is this hourly on Pinterest, okay, on June 2nd. We have a strong uptrend right here for Pinterest on the hourly time frame, okay? But notice what's here. It's strong technical resistance, okay? On the hourly time frame, the hourly candles are all below the moving averages, okay? I trade with the 9, 21, and 55 EMA moving, or exponential moving average, excuse me. That is a technical resistance at this point when the candles are below. Okay, you see how they act as a support level, okay? They get bounces off as support, okay, and that leads to higher highs. But when they're below, they're acting as resistance. That's going to lead to lower lows, like this, okay? So I see this hourly candle close below this trend line, and where does this hourly candle get rejected? It gets rejected at all three moving averages, okay? It couldn't even close above one. It closed all the way down here. So that was my entry point for this trade, okay? Now, Pinterest did end up getting a little bit of a run into close. However, that didn't phase me because I bought time, okay? So I bought 611 at the money, I believe 63 strike puts, okay? So they were pretty much at the money. $1 out of the money, give or take, depending on close and where you entered on June 2nd. But that run up into close didn't phase me at all, okay? Because look, we're still below we're still below two of the three moving averages, okay? So that was fine and dandy. Now let's look into the 5 minute, okay? So this is how we opened. This is the small run I was talking about in the close. About a 40-cent run, give or take, so it wasn't that bad. Okay, see how Pinterest right here starts to take off in pre-market a little bit, especially this last 5 minute candle right here before market open. That doesn't phase me at all, okay, because what are they doing? They're filling the gap. Okay, Pinterest gap down from roughly $64.08 all the way down to $63. Okay, so there's a dollar gap fill that has to be filled. Okay, gaps love to be filled. They will always be filled unless it's like a 6% gap and run type of play. That's not what this was for Pinterest. So this pre-market run up was actually benefits us as an options trader because this happens when the market's closed. Okay, this way we can't FOMO ourselves out of a swing position. Okay, this is all happening in pre-market right here. I'm not phased by it one bit. Now the first 5 minute candle, notice where it opens up. It fills the rest of this gap. Okay, this 5 minute candle right here in pre-market left some room open right here. The first 5 minute candle fills the remainder of the gap. Then look where they run Pinterest up to. Okay, they run it up to yesterday's close pretty much, a little bit above, and then boom, they bring the floor down. Okay, they drop the hammer on Pinterest. I mean, within 1 minute, they drop it from 64.32 all the way down to 62.67. Excuse me, within 10 minutes, almost a $2 drop in Pinterest. Okay, this drop put our cons easily in the money right here. 15 minutes in the market open. Okay, so not even 15 minutes in the market open, our cons went from being $1 out of the money to being over $1 in the money. Okay, this was just a mental game. This was a market maker forcing out the weak hands. Quick gap fill to the upside. Thankfully, they filled most of the gap in the last 5 minutes of pre-market, and then boom, you just had to hold through about 7 minutes, give or take, because of this tall, long wick up here attached to this big bearish 5 minute candle. Okay, you had to ride this out for 7 minutes, give or take, and then your option was back in the money. And this is where we all sold for 25 to 35% profit. Okay, but this was just on the hourly time frame. Okay, let's look at it on the daily time frame. All right, so this is kind of neat right here. Bearish engulfing candlestick for Pinterest dating back to June 1st. Okay, this is going to take a couple days to play out. A bearish engulfing candlestick takes a few days to play out. Now, this was yesterday's candlestick. Okay, notice what's happening here. The stochastic slow is about to cross. This is something else that I noticed yesterday. Okay, the stochastic slow is about to cross to the downside for Pinterest. Okay, that's a strong shift in momentum. And with that crossing to the downside, that's going to be a strong bearish shift in momentum. Okay, so now on two different time frames, both the hourly and the daily, I have a confluence lined up of bearish momentum. Okay, we broke the uptrend on the hourly time frame, and we have a strong bearish cross to the downside on our stochastic slow, following a previous bearish engulfing candlestick, okay, dating back to June 1st. This is a beautiful confluence for a swing setup. It was an expensive premium. I don't think the cons are even more than $1.50 each. So this was a very good swing trade for all account sizes. All that you had to do was hold through 7 minutes of a market maker playing with your emotion and getting the weak hands out, and then the con dropped to end the money within 8 minutes. All right, this is a very, very good swing strategy that I use every single time, or not every single time, but I look for every single day. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments below. I will be more than happy to answer them.